Never mess with angry Altmiller. That's
Yeah.
a path to disaster right there.
You sons of bitches.
Okie doke. Well, I don't know if you've looked at it, but I have a podcast episode that I absolutely want to do today.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, it's gonna be very anime, but I'm gonna ease you into it. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
Okay. So you ready to start?
I'm ready.
All right. Podcasting in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to Gamedads, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron, and my partner in crime is
I'm Brett.
he is Brett,
I am Brett.
and this is Gamedads, and we talk about video games and anime and everything in between. So, starting
Sometimes
this,
both at the same time.
sometimes both at the same time. Starting this episode off, like I have two things that I want to talk about that I don't think we have personally discussed, so I'm really excited about. The first one is I want to talk about Suicide Squad kills the Justice League because there was a very specific controversy that I feel like as a DC person, a person who likes DC but isn't as into it as you, I feel like you might see this more to the other side than I do.
I can
But
sum it up in a tweet, sir. 140 characters or less.
all right. So the DC
Are we talking about that spoiler?
it is a spoiler.
Because everybody knows it.
It is a spoiler. So yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So first off, spoiler for Justice the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. So if you don't want to
Okay.
hear it, just like fast forward past this part because this is a spoiler, even though it's been all over the internet and the title of the game kind of gives it away.
No. It fully does. I finished it. So
So
this is my opinions are as somebody that has actually played the fucking game instead of just internet chatter with people that don't have any interest in it or just want to completely just wreck Rocksteady. So I'm going to preface it by saying fuck you.
yeah, okay, we got angry Alt Miller out of the gate. All right, I'm down. Okay, so
Dude, I'm ready to fight.
let me just go into it. So there was tons and tons of spoilers that came out for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Like the second that game dropped, people were talking about what happens in it. People were talking about all of it. So again, spoiler warning. But so there is a scene in that game where Batman dies.
Mm-hmm.
He is killed by the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he's killed by Harley Quinn.
By Harley Quinn
No.
specifically, which I don't. I could
Bad
talk
knowledge.
about that, but I could talk about the symbolism of him being killed by Harley Quinn, but I just want to like get this out. So he is killed by Harley Quinn, and people were super upset about it. People, I'm not gonna do the generic like gamers. Like there was a set of people who were super upset about it, and they were upset because they didn't feel like Batman's death had enough gravitas in the Suicide Squad. And then also there was a sect of people who were upset because Kevin Conroy's last voice acting of Batman was in this game. And then
It's been confirmed it's not his last though.
okay, well, that was one of the groups that were very upset about it because they thought that was his last performance, and it was him getting killed by Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and people were really upset about it. And I was like, I can't wait to talk to Brett about this because like this was even before you had told me that you had bought it and played it. Like I heard this before you had told me any of that. I was just like, as soon as we're back on this podcast, I'm talking to Brett about this. But I'm gonna give my opinion first as a person who wants to play the game but has not played it yet. So, first off, the basic the character of Harley Quinn that we know that evolved from the Batman cartoon, which Kevin Conroy voices. It's literally, Harley Quinn is almost a character who was created by him, and then he gets killed by her. Like, it's perfect. Like, there's no reason that this is a bad idea to do. And then if you didn't want to see Batman get killed, I don't know, don't pick up a game called the freaking Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. If you don't want to see Batman die, don't buy the game. Like, it tells you everything in the title. Mm-hmm. It's like you have a phobia of snakes, and you were like, "Oh man, this movie Snakes on a Plane sucks." Like, well, I don't know how else they could have warned you besides telling you there were going to be snakes on the plane in the movie, and the freaking like trailer is a picture of Samuel L. Jackson fighting a bunch of snakes. I don't know how else they could have warned you that this was going to happen. Like, it's not like we're living in. This is not like a stab at anybody, or it's not like we're in Dragon Ball Z or some random other. And Dragon Ball Z is a really bad example. I should pick something else. It's not like we're in like a world where like if a character dies, that means they're gone forever and they will never exist again. Like, I get that this story takes place in the Arkham universe, and maybe somewhere down the line people were hoping for a new Arkham game, and then this means that the Arkham Batman dies. But like, it's comics. Comic book characters die all the time. My brain cannot comprehend why people are upset about this.
I'm waiting for the hot tag, brother.
Oh, okay? Tag, you're in. Please go.
Okay. I wasn't gonna. I don't want to step on you or anything like that. All right, I agree with you. I have finished Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. I put about 20 hours into it. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with some of the ending stuff, but regarding the Batman stuff specifically, dude, Kevin Conroy was let loose in this game. It was awesome. He is all over it. First and foremost, he is like this mustache twirling, like super villain that Brainiac has kind of turned everybody into these like big badass like villains. Are just they're kind of their characters turned up to 11, sometimes 15.
Yeah, again, we're talking about people who haven't played the game, pretty obviously, but like the bits and pieces that I played of it, like you're literally like the one part that I played is literally Batman just supervillain stomping the Suicide Squad. It's not like he goes in and immediately gets murdered. Like, there's a scene, the part that I played, like he literally just beats the crap out of all of them.
Well, okay, so we're just full spoilers and all that stuff. Batman's death is used to lure out Superman. They're the last two left. Superman's killed Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was the last metahuman left to help the Suicide Squad combat the Justice League, and they had captured Batman. You go through the whole. Dude, and before I get into all that stuff, dude, like he hunts you through the game. It's amazing. You'll look up on a building, he'll just be randomly just not randomly. It's it's Batman. Nothing's random with Batman, but he's watching you the whole game, and then talking shit. It's amazing.
Every part that I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say about the part that I played, but how it happened. But like every part that I played where like Batman was there, he was awesome. Like, I don't understand why anyone would be mad about this, besides the fact they didn't actually play the game.
So the point that I made to a friend of mine, we were talking about it, and this is how I said I could actually sum it up in a tweet, and I'll read it verbatim. Harley killing Batman was very appropriate. At that point, the Batman died. Batman was not Batman, and there was nobody left. And I'm sure he would have wanted Harley to end him if he had the chance to say it. Full stop.
Yeah, that's perfect. And like that's what I was trying. I'm like, it's now, very obvious.
My other point.
Go ahead.
Okay. My other point for people not playing the game, if they loved Arkham as much as they said they did, and this is where I'm going to call bullshit on people. The only thing that rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm fine with that now, dude. It's a story. The only thing that rubbed me the wrong way was that Batman actually had killed Robin off screen. Tim Drake, specifically Robin. You go into one of the I can't remember specifically where it's at, but you're going into like the it's right before you capture Batman. It's like one of the bat caves he has in Metropolis or whatever, and there's a bloody Robin mask on the floor. So if people really wanted to be mad about Arkham continuing or not continuing, whatever, Robin was obviously the choice to kind of go on with that, and that's honestly after the events of Arkham Knight, that's what I wanted. Jason Todd is still alive. He's he was the Arkham Knight. Spoilers for that. I'm actually playing that right now too. But Tim Drake's Robin would have been the appropriate choice to go forward. Barbara Gordon had already become Oracle at this point, so she was in the wheelchair. Damian Wayne, they never even referenced him. Talia al Ghul's dead. But Tim Drake specifically dying off screen, I think that was kind of not, I wouldn't say bullshit. It was a choice, definitely. But you could also kind of tell that this Suicide Squad game was originally going to be a Superman game. From the layout of Metropolis to all the stuff that you do with Brainiac, it was going to be a Superman game.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm sure that personally cuts you, because I know you're like the biggest Robin fan of anybody I've ever met. So,
oh, dude, yeah, and specifically Tim Drake, and a lot of that comes from comic books, yes, but like the Arkham games, they portray Robin a little bit differently. He is a little more grown up. Well, I mean, all the Robins, I've loved all of them. Even the Dark Knight Returns ones where you get the Stephanie and Carrie and all that stuff. But Dick is already Nightwing in this game, in this universe and stuff, and Robin, Tim Drake Robin has not become Red Robin yet, but he is he is an older version of Robin. And of course Jason Todd has already kind of gone through his I don't want to say stint as Robin, but the whole torture of the Joker. He was tortured in Arkham Asylum for over a year, and then he reemerged as the Arkham Knight, which in some other mediums he's the Red Hood, and then he's that vigilante and all that stuff. But but that's really the only thing that rubs me the wrong way. But for people to sit here and say that Rocksteady disrespected Kevin Conroy, first and foremost, y'all don't know what Kevin Conroy was thinking, and he signed up for it. He would have had to at the very least read the script.
This is this is my thing about it, is I'm sure he didn't know that he was that this was going to be his last performance. They didn't know this was going to be his last performance. I mean, Batman
it's
has
not his last performance.
Well, that's what they're saying. I'm sorry.
In the Arkham games. Yeah. No, it's okay. I just want to before we get or people listen to it and stuff. Anyway,
so
go ahead.
It's just this weird this weird reverence of oh my god, I can't believe they did this to him, and it's the game's called The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. How did you make it past the title and then still expect nobody in the Justice League to die in this game?
Well, most of the people complaining we're never going to play it anyways. They had already written it off as whatever flavor that they wanted to, the argument of the day. It's a live service game, or Rocksteady took 9 years to make this, 8 years to make this, whatever it was, and this is what we got. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those things that I saw online, and I was just like sometimes when I'm reading a really an argument that I feel I'm like, let me try and understand where these people are coming from. I will dig in and I'll read a tweet or two, or go down a level and see the conversation that's going on back and forth. I saw this one and I was just like, so it's.
Well, I will say though, like it's not. I don't like video game scores. I never have. I think that calling something a 7 or a 5 or a 9 is very reductive. And it's hard to compare one thing to the other. We've already talked about that on this show. I think Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a good game. It's not a great game. It's not a bad game. It's a good game.
Yeah.
And those can exist. Like those actually help amplify the games that are actually great. Or dude, most of the people that are complaining right now, like I don't want to say this as an old man or anything like that, but y'all don't know what bad games are.
That's the
SNES, and Genesis, and Super Nintendo. Even I would say as recent as the Wii. When you have those shovelware style games, those are bad.
Yeah, none of you motherfuckers played Drake and the 10 Dragons. I don't want to hear it.
Sonic and the Secret Rings.
None of you play like
Black Knight.
That's a really good point. Look, there are some things that are going on in modern gaming right now that I find skeezy. That's 100% true. But people are really missing what good games and bad games are. There can be games that just aren't great. There are good games that aren't great, and those good games are fun. But people treat any game that's not 10 out of 10 IGN is a heap of garbage that no one should touch. It's not that. It's not that all the time.
Yeah. It's not as cut and dry as that. It's not, the world exists in shades of gray.
Right. I mean, I'm never in my entire life will I ever tell anyone that I think Dynasty Warriors 3 or 4 are great games. They're not, but they're still fun.
Yeah.
You can still play them. Every game has to be perfect, or it's this is garbage. It's either the greatest game of all time or just put it in the trash. I'm no, I mean, some games just are average. Some games are fun for a little while. Some games are, fun every once in a while, but you don't play them all day, every day. Everyone needs to chill out with this, and then put the social justice warrior arguments on top of it, and then it's just I can't listen to you children argue. That makes me sound really old, but I just can't.
I will say too, just kind of to speak from both sides of it, I did decide to boot up Arkham Knight after I beat Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I'm almost finished with the main story. I think I'm going to play it a little bit more after that. Dude, I love Arkham Knight. So good. But that was the last one that people ripped that one to shreds too, for the tank and the Batmobile and all that other stuff too. People don't really know what they want. But the story in that game actually kind of made me appreciate Suicide Squad a little bit more, and it actually made me kind of appreciate the previous games a little bit more too, just in comparison to Suicide Squad. Those ones were built as single player games. They were not meant to be. What's the point I'm trying to make? Suicide Squad, it is a multiplayer game. You play it single player and all that stuff, and it works just like that. But the story is meant to be experienced by multiple people at the same time. It's not as hyper focused as something like Arkham Knight. I will say Arkham Knight, especially the Arkham trilogy as a whole, is better than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But I also think that is inherently because I prefer single player games versus multiplayer games. Yeah, I'm kind of talking in circles, I think, but I do dig Rocksteady's past work more than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but that doesn't take away from what Suicide Squad is currently, and that's a fun, dare I say, throwaway kind of experience. It's a nice weekend game, popcorn style.
Yeah.
You get in, get out, and then move on with your life.
Yeah, and it's like the way that I'm seeing it, and the way that like I'm kind of presenting it to Andrea, because I think it's going to be the next game that we play together. The way I'm presenting it to her is like we don't. I mean, like we're not. I keep saying this over and over again. I just need to quit. But like we're not against DC. We just aren't into it as we are into Marvel. I'm like it's going to be just a fun little romp through DC land. We're just gonna, take in some of the DC stories that are not as, like popular or not as seen as often, and just kind of enjoy it a little bit and enjoy some unique interactions between superheroes that we don't get to see normally. That's it. I'm like, and then we get to shoot stuff with guns. Like that's the game. Like it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
I do think that part's really fun too. I'm not as into shooters as I used to be, but the guns are really fun. The traversal's a lot of fun too, and there's a lot for any type of play style, whatever you want to do. I ended up settling in as Harley Quinn, where I thought I was going to be more of a King Shark guy, but I ended up being more Harley. Um, it was fun. I mean, it's a lot of the same stuff repetitively. Escort missions and defend this, defend that. Just it's very basic, but you can definitely tell that game was built on the bones of a Superman game. Um, just the way Metropolis is, all the different DC references are really cool too. But um, that game was very, very obviously a Superman game. So, and I hope we get that one day.
I hope so too. Honestly, I feel like
For my sake.
I feel like the once they made Superman 64, they were like, I don't think we can ever do Superman again.
Dude, give me that Superman. Like that's my favorite Superman. Like animated series Superman. Paul Dini, what is his name? Bruce Timm. Like give me that. Give me that Superman. Like we've already done the Arkham. Like the Arkham games were built off of Batman the animated series. Give me that Superman, please, please.
I really love that Superman too. Okay,
I have a black suit Superman down there. He's looking at me right now. He's make a game out of me.
Make a game. So
that's all I got.
Because I've been doing is playing Bloodborne. I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yes, expound, sir.
Okay, so I beat the Bloodstarved Beast, and I beat the the Helmwick witch, whatever her name is. Beat her. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in the Forbidden Woods, just like running around like a chicken with my head cut off. just running around. I have gotten like way more powerful, but I ran into another boss. I got clubbed to death by some dude with a bag, and then he put me in jail, and then I got out of jail, and I ran into some like crazy electric beast thing, and it totally kicked my butt. Andrea just keeps calling them the guys with the potato sacks, and I was like, I'm assuming they're heads or something in there, but you can call them a potato sack if you want.
For lunch, the brown bag in it
could be.
Yeah.
So far, the let's say the environment has the environment's effect has worn off on me. I'm no longer in super tense, like something's around the corner. Whoa, whoa. Like I'm more in kind of what BS ability does this guy have? Because I definitely have gotten my throat slit by several witches that just snuck up on around a corner and grabbed me. I'm like, okay, now I'm ready.
Are you still rocking the saw blade?
I am, but I watched a tutorial because I was trying to figure out where I found this door that had a password, and then somewhere along the line, I found that like once you beat, uh, once you beat the Amelia, Van Car Amelia or whatever her name is, you get the password from her, and then you go to the door, and then like you tell them the password, and then it lets you proceed into the Forbidden Woods. So I was like, okay, now where's this door at? And I ran around like a psycho, like all over everywhere I had been trying to figure out where the stupid door was, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, fine, I'm just gonna go to a tutorial and figure out where this door is. I'm just gonna find the door, not gonna look at anything else. So as this guy is running up to the door, I see that he's got the axe, the extended axe. Or maybe
I love the axe.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's a spear, and I just wasn't looking right. But I think it was an axe. And then like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna charge up for a second, and then hit you with this big spinning double hit that like launches enemies and does 2 hits of damage in one charge strike." And I was like, "That I completely understand why people like this weapon. Like that, right there. I get it. Fighting regular enemies, that seems dope."
When I played, I was a big fan of the axe. I mean, it's a starting weapon, but I don't think I ever changed. I took that all the way through to the very end of the game, so I loved it.
I'm still using the saw cleaver, but I also picked up the electric maul.
Okay.
So I've been leveling that up, but like I don't know, my saw still feels better, but I mean I used it the whole game so far, so it might just be I need to use the other weapon a little more. And I also picked up a cannon, but I'm not strong enough to use it.
Yeah, you got to upgrade your. Oh gosh, it's been a while since I played Bloodborne, but there's a stat where it allows you to carry things a little bit more, or maybe it's like technique or something like that.
I think
Um,
I think there's skill, which my skill is high enough, but like it literally my strength has to be 30 to be able to use it. And my strength is like
yeah.
20, I think it's 25 or 26 right now, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited to be able to use this. This sounds like fun. That my character right now isn't strong enough to use it, and my main stats are strength and health.
Okay, right on. So you're powering through it then.
Oh yeah, I have been like when I couldn't beat the Bloodstarved Beast for a while. Like I went off and just did some other stuff and gained a bunch of levels, and I went back to fight him again, and I didn't even like use any of the fire because I was doing so much damage with my blade. I was just like, I'm just gonna kill him this way, and just like
Oh yeah.
brute force through it all, and then literally finished him. It said prey defeated, and then like I was like in the middle of celebrating, and then I died from poison. I was like, yes, finally beat him, and then I watched my character fall to the ground. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to cure my poison. But
Did you light the lantern before you died though?
no, but I just ran back. Like I had been going that route so many times that I knew had all the bad guys on the way there memorized by heart, and like the toughest bad guys were in between. Only took 3 hits by the time I got there, so I was like, I could just run right through them all and kill them all and get back and touch the lantern. But yeah, I did my first Chalice dungeon, which Chalice dungeons they're interesting, but they would be a lot cooler if you actually got blood echoes from doing it. But like most of the bad guys I fought in there were like giving me like 15 to 20 blood echoes per kill, so I was like, this seems, I mean, I'm sure there's something interesting at the bottom of this, and I'm sure this is a great place to get items, but like
Yes.
as far as blood echoes, this ain't doing it.
No, that's not the place to grind. That's more for stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
there's an
definitely picked up some good
optional
stuff
boss
in
at the
there,
bottom.
and like I definitely picked up some good stuff while I was there and just kind of ran around. But like as far as like blood echoes, I was like, I could get twice as many blood echoes in like 3 different places than doing it here. So I went down a level or two. I think I went down 2 levels, and then I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm done. So
You gonna stick with it?
Bloodborne,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are you
well,
into
I'm in
the
it.
end?
I'm in it until Rebirth comes out. and then I'm gonna play the absolute dog crap out of Rebirth, and then once I finish Rebirth and the new Kakarot DLC that's coming out next week, then I'm gonna go back to Bloodborne. I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm definitely going to finish Bloodborne.
Okay.
So,
I believe in you, sir.
it's and me and Andrea have been sitting around and like playing it like whenever we have like a whole bunch of free time, or once the kids go to bed, we'll pick it up and play it for a little while. But like, it has been the difference between my playstyle and Andrea's playstyle is so fun, hilariously highlighted in this game because like,
is she playing it too?
no, she's like, passenger seat playing with me.
Oh,
like,
I got you.
just pointing like, but like the way I play is like, if I'm in a place that I have no idea where I am, I'm like, let's just keep moving. We just gotta keep moving. Try and get to the next the lantern. Try and like figure out what's ahead of us. Just keep going. And hers is like, look at that over there. Do you see that over there? Do you see over that? This guy dropped something. Like this. I'm like, I'm trying so hard to not die. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. And she's just like, yeah, but you didn't go over here. Did you go over here? Did you go over here? Did you go over here? And I'm like, it's just the difference between the way me and her play games.
Yeah.
And like,
I will say, once you're done with that, dude, try Lies of P. If you like Bloodborne, I think you'll love Lies of P.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I definitely have enjoyed this game more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. It's a special game, dude. I'm not a Souls guy. I don't want to say famously and stuff because I played most of them, played all of them. I think I played all the FromSoft ones. I didn't get into Neo, that kind of stuff. All the ones that are like, what do they call them, Souls like or Soulsborne like
yeah.
or whatever. But of the FromSoft games, I think Bloodborne's the strongest one. It's a special game, dude. I'm glad you're digging it.
So, yeah, I haven't really touched. I've been playing I played Tales of Arise, but like in the last like 2 weeks, I don't think I've played it at all. Just not any reason, nothing against Tales of Arise. It just when I play Tales of Arise and then I go back to Bloodborne, I like you said, I lose a step, and I gotta take a while to like get back, and I'm like, it's gonna take me forever to finish this game if I'm gonna lose a step every day, every time I play it, because I'm going back to Tales of Arise and then back to Bloodborne. Like it's not working.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I just to kind of finish off what we've been playing and stuff. I platinumed the first Final Fantasy game.
Nice.
And I've never beat it before. So it was great, dude. I had it on when it came through the Origins collection on the original PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And I got pretty far in it, but I never actually beat it. But this time around, dude, I did everything. It was great, dude. Nice and short. I think it was like 10 or 12 hours, something like that. And that was with grinding. I was telling Allie that if I had played the original Final Fantasy instead of Zelda, I think my life would have been a little bit differently, or at least my taste in games would have been a little bit different.
Oh, we would have had JRPG, Brett.
Oh, dude, like you introduced me to JRPGs with Secret of Mana, and then there were the Final Fantasy games over your house and stuff too. But Secret of Mana was really my first one, and if I had Final Fantasy before I had Zelda or any of that other stuff, like even you remember the movie Willow?
Yep.
It had a game too, and I played the shit out of that one.
Oh no!
But it was so good.
Oh no! We would have had Weeb Brett.
I don't know about Weeb Brett.
No. Those pipelines are very secure. If you start playing Final Fantasy and you get into Final Fantasy, you're going straight into that. We would have had Weeb Brett.
My first Final Fantasy was 8, the first one that I bought. that was I bought a PlayStation off a buddy of mine at school, and I went and got Final Fantasy 8, and because they didn't have 7, so I got 8, and I got Chrono Cross, which I mean I had already played and beat Chrono Trigger several times over, but I don't know if I would have been a weeb.
No.
Because by that point, like I was already like into the anime stuff with you, not to the degree as you guys, but I like Dragon Ball, and I liked a few of the ones that you guys watched, but I don't know. But dude, I don't even know what Wee Brett would look like.
Wee Brett. It would have been great. It would have been awesome.
What I have, I don't know, like just kind of going down the hypothetical rabbit hole and stuff. Like Wee Brett probably doesn't get into pro wrestling.
No, I wouldn't say that. I know a lot of people who are both weebs and wrestling fans, and especially since there's a huge wrestling like community in Japan. Like,
yeah,
those aren't. I mean, there's wrestling animes. Those aren't separate.
My cat just flipped out on me. He did not like being touched there.
Oh, well, don't touch his gooch then.
Oh man, don't touch the cat gooches.
I don't know, but we are segueing perfectly into the main topic of today's episode.
I set you up, dude.
You set me up quite well, so I'm gonna explain this, and I actually have to get the notes out because I took notes on this. I put them in the Gamedads doc.
I saw it. Like, what? How do you pronounce that?
Okay, it is isekai. So let me explain. So what the issue is, isekais have lost their minds. It's gone crazy. Like, the isekais have been around for as long as, I've been watching anime, but they have recently just like exploded into a new level that doesn't even make any sense.
Who are they?
So an isekai is like an anime which their storyline is the main character lives in one world, I mean generally, and then gets transferred to like a new fantasy world. So like the best example that I could give that I think you might know would be like Inuyasha is a isekai. It's like Kagome lives in the normal world, and then she goes into the well, and then she goes to like the feudal world with Inuyasha and demons and all that stuff. So like,
Forspoken's like that too.
There are tons of them. Like I was like, the reason that I was like, I need to do an episode about the isekai problem. This needs to be discussed is because I recently, this is 100% real. There is an isekai in Japan that's going on right now that is the main character dies and then he gets resurrected in a fantasy world as a vending machine.
Huh?
Main character lives in the real world, dies. He gets brought back to life in like a feudal fantasy, like Final Fantasy setting, like swords, knives, guns, or swords and knives and shields and magic spells. But he is resurrected as a vending machine.
What?
There's a problem. That's what I'm trying to get to. There's a problem.
Can he move?
Yes, he is a sentient, walking, talking vending machine.
Like Big Mouth Kirby.
It's. I was like, okay, so let me look at some other isekai examples. I need to find some other stuff. So I went and I did a little research because I thought it would be good for a podcast like this to like do a little research on what other isekais are out there. So one of the ones that I really actually like, which is insane, is this girl. She's in the real world. Then she dies and she comes back to life in like an actual like MMO style RPG, but she's a level 1 spider.
Oh.
Then she grinds her levels by going around fighting other monsters and stuff, and then she becomes this like super badass character who like takes on these super powerful enemies. Like it's a trope that they do all the time now, but like it's been happening so often that now they have to come up with these really freaking insane ideas to make it interesting. Like one of the most popular ones is so what I'm a slime. So like the main character dies and he gets resurrected as like a level 1 bad guy slime, and then he like grinds his way into, from what people say, that character is like the most powerful character in anime. Like by the time his story gets, I don't know if it's actually over yet. I don't know if that series is over yet, but like where it is now, he has like space-time magic and like creation magic, and like he literally is one of the most powerful characters in anime period. Like it's a real problem, and like I did a cursory search, but I don't know why I didn't get saved on the page, but like I did a search of like just like isekai animes that have come out in the last like 10 years, and there are like 200 or something. And just, I mean, Suicide Squad is an isekai anime. The one that I was just talking about is like ranked number like 4 in all animes. Let me see. There's one where an old man who's like some like old loser who lives in his basement gets resurrected as like a 10-year-old, and like, but he's like a magic 10-year-old, and it's like they do this so often that like some of these concepts are really, really weird. Like, let me see if I can find some of these really crazy examples. One of them is some guy who works in a like an office desk job dies, and then he gets resurrected as like a part of like a guy, like he gets resurrected as like a 10-year-old, but she's like a military genius who like goes around murdering people, and like it's just, there are so many of these animes. Like I can't even scratch the surface of how many there are and how weird they get. I feel like the vending machine one is pretty good, but like there are others that are even weirder.
Has this just been getting more popular recently, or
it started in about, the first one started coming out in about 2009, where it started, but it's just ramped up from there. Like I said, in the last 10 years there have been 200 of this this story of just like, and like I got to talk about some of the recurring characters in these stories too, because there is one recurring character in all of these, or a large portion of them, and his name is Truck-kun. Truck-kun is a random semi-truck that hits the majority of the characters in these stories, that transports them to the fantasy world. It happens so often that like they've nicknamed the truck that kills the main character and takes them to the fantasy world Truck-kun. And like you can do a Google search on Truck-kun and it will come up. like this happens.
Any relation to Optimus Senpai?
I bet they're brothers or cousins or something. But like,
right
it happens so often that like Truck-kun is a character. Like, you can make a reference to Truck-kun and people will understand what you're talking about, because like it happens all the time. Like, there are so many of these that like I'm looking at a list of isekai animes and like, okay, here's a good title. Just I'm just scrolling down the list. Okay. campfire cooking in another world with my absurd cooking skills. That is the title of a show that has a 7.67 rank on the anime list. Like, the thing about all of these isekais that keep coming out is, like, they sound ridiculous, but, like, they're not... It's not all just throwaway anime. Some of these are ranked very highly.
Yeah.
Some of these are done by major studios. That one is done by one of the top 3 anime studios in Japan. Like, MAPPA is one of the top 3 anime studios in Japan, and it makes campfire cooking skills in another world. Like, I just don't know what's next for anime and when we're going to come out of this isekai, like, I don't even loop that we're stuck in. Because it's non-stop, and it's been almost 20 years at this point.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. You would think that something would change eventually. I mean, for the longest time, too, wasn't it like amnesia? Like a big kind of trope, too?
Yeah, there was definitely a big amnesia trope that was like more of like the early 2000s and 90s.
Yeah. There was like a lot of like how like RPGs started too. Like you wake up, you have no clue who you are. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like I'm upset that the original list that I found somehow didn't get saved. I put it in the comments of the thing, and I must have erased it when I was changing stuff around. But like, if you could see just the list of all of the English names of all of these animes, and just running through them and looking at them would illustrate my point 100 times better than the way I'm explaining it. Okay, here's another one. This anime is a 7.74, and it is called The Devil is a Part-Timer, and it is where the devil gets isekai'd out of his, like, fantasy world into the real world where he works at McDonald's. like, it just... There are so many of these.
Dude, that's funny. I don't know. I guess I just don't watch enough anime to really pay attention to that. But dude, I will watch him. We'll watch one where he's a vending machine. Are they like? Is he a vending machine through the whole thing?
Yeah. It's
What,
one of those
is
very
it candy?
It's very
Or
one of
is it
those
like
very awesome anime things where they can just take something that's completely absurd, stick it into their story, and not change it. But like, yeah, he's a vending machine the whole time.
yikes?
And I mean, like I said, not all of them are bad. I'm watching an isekai right now, and it's called Shangri-La Frontier. Basically, this one is less of an isekai because it's really about a guy who's playing like a VR MMO. So it's less of an isekai because he doesn't like die, get transported to a new world. He's just playing a character in a game. But he spent his whole life playing really, really crappy games just for fun. And like going through them and picking them apart and finding all of the cheese and all of the shortcuts and all of the secrets to like break these really bad games. Then he finally decides to play like the good AAA title, which is called Shangri-La Frontier. He sells all of his armor to buy nice weapons and a helmet. So he's running around in his character's underwear with 2 swords and like a bird mask helmet. So like he like levels up that way and like fights through the first area, and then like once he gets to like the second area, he runs into like an infamous monster that no one's ever seen before. And he fights it, but he loses. But after he loses, the monster curses him, so like the places where his curse he can't ever equip any armor to that area, and it curses his arms, his chest, and his legs. So he has this stupid bird mask stuck on, 2 swords, and he has to run around in his underwear for the rest of the game because he can't wear armor. So but the whole story is really about this guy who like spent his whole life playing all these games and finding every little exploit that he could to like make them interesting or make them easier to beat, and now he's in this really good game. He's finding exploits that no one else can find because he's been doing it since he started playing games, and like the whole story is about him like finding these little exploits in order to like kick ass at this game, even though now he has this serious handicap of not being able to wear armor. And I was like, it's another isekai, but like it's still interesting. Like it's crazy how they like this story, the same plot point gets used over and over and over again, but somehow there are some of them that are still good. And like somebody else was pointing out some of the older isekais that people don't think about, like Digimon is technically an isekai. Like I don't think isekai when I think Digimon, but like they are in the real world and then they get transported to the digital world, and that's what an isekai is.
Yeah. By the way, if I sound different, I just changed my headphones.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm back on the regular wired Apple earbuds, and I can definitely tell a difference. But, dude, I wish I knew more about Digimon.
Digimon, like Chris is like super into Digimon, and like I feel like that sounds weird, but like when you actually like look into it, there are like I think 7 or 8 different Digimon stories, like 5 different generations of Digimon tamers. I think they're tamers in Digimon. And then like there's a season of where like all of them actually like grow up, and then like there are like Digimon, like several Digimon movies. Like it's not as long and as as Pokemon, but it's still nothing to like scoff at. There's tons of Digimon stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, like Pokemon had a really easy entry point with the video games and stuff, and I wouldn't even know where to start with the Digimon games, and that's what I would probably get into. Like, I'm too old for the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, I'm not gonna like. Oh man, you got to start with Digimon episode 1. That like,
yeah,
there's also a really big difference between the Digimon games and the Digimon TV shows, because the Digimon games kind of just are all over the place. Like it's more like Pokemon, where you just like whatever Digimon you run into is the one you tame and become your new partner, and then like in the games it's like in the show it's like very specific, and like each partner and destiny, and they have one partner throughout the entirety of the show and stuff. Like it's different. I would say that I wouldn't even go for the Digimon anime for you. Like I wouldn't have even suggested it, because like the Digimon games definitely seem more of your speed.
Yeah. I have not played a single Digimon game before.
I think I still have Cyber Sleuth for PS4.
Yeah. There was one that was getting a lot of traction on like there was like a lot of buzz about it on PS4, and I can't remember if it was that one or if there was another one possibly, but I had it in my cart at one point. I never pulled the trigger on it.
I feel like it's Cyber Sleuth, because like it was really big for a little while, and there's another one, if I remember correctly, that's on the way, that's getting some traction that hasn't come out yet, but like I think it's Cyber Sleuth. I just wanted to talk about freaking isekais, because this has been bothering me for a long time, and I've been like, I need to say this. I need to put this out there because it's in my head a lot. how many freaking isekais there are in the world right now. Like, and like the one last thing that I want to say about isekais is like there are a lot of them that go a lot of different directions, very obviously. But like other thing that comes up in isekais a lot is like super overpowered main characters, which I think is really interesting. That like Dragon Ball Z and like your typical shonen animes, like that's the best way to describe it. Like animes like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto,
Naruto.
One Piece, Bleach, stuff like that. Kind of has the character, and they grind to like the next challenge, and then like once they get there, they're strong enough to beat that opponent, but then another stronger guy comes, and then they grind to get to the point where they can beat that next stronger guy. It's kind of how all of the shonen animes work. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously. There are situations that are different, but like that's a general flow. But like isekais are completely different. There are so many isekais where like the main character is so strong that like nobody in the world can even touch them, and like they go through the entire story of the show without ever being challenged, and it's so weird. Like there's a show called Overlord where like the main character gets isekai'd, but he gets isekai'd into like the god of death, and he's just like an untouchable monster who just murders anyone who gets close to him. Like, and it's so weird that that's how like the entire show runs that way. It's 4 seasons, and the main character is not challenged in a single fight so far. Like every time anyone comes up to him, he instantly kills them. And like that's weird, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I mean, there are tons of stories where the main character is very powerful, but like they always run into a challenge somewhere. Like something eventually is like, oh well, the main bad guy, I mean, is powerful enough to be able to fight against your character. So then now they got like, but like there are some of these isekais where like no one, like the main character is the most powerful person in the universe from episode 1 and is never challenged.
I think your vending machine guy, if he ran up against like one of those, we used to call him the Wheel of Death at the department store we used to work at. But it's one of those like rotating like sandwich machines.
Oh yeah.
Like if vending machine guy ran up against rotating sandwich guy.
No, but the problem is he's a Japanese vending machine, and Japanese vending machines are dope. Like they can sell everything. They can sell sandwiches, they can sell pizzas, they can sell sodas, they can sell cold drinks, hot drinks. Like Japanese vending machines are dope.
Or like a UFO machine. You know what I mean? Like the claw game.
Oh yeah. So, yeah.
You want to mess with those guys.
Yeah, don't want to mess with those guys. Isekais are weird, and they are extremely plentiful right now. And, like, it's one of those things where, like, anime has a different anime for anything you could possibly imagine. Like, there's a TikToker that I watch, and one of her bits is just her husband comes up to her and then says the most random sequence of words you could possibly imagine, and then she goes, "Yeah, I'm watching that anime. It's on season 3." And then it's like she'll walk up and be like, "What if some super depressed guy wants to kill himself, but he doesn't. Instead, he makes a TV show for kids." And it's like, yep, there's an anime about that. Like, what if the devil gets reincarnated as a high school student, and he goes to a prestigious high school and follows all of the high school prestigious norms and drinks tea with his pinky out? It's like, yep, there's an anime for that. And it's like, there are so many different animes out there in the world that like the idea that there's one genre of anime that just keeps producing like constantly. There are constantly isekais just seems so weird to me. All right, man.
I wish I had more of an opinion, man.
No, it's all good. I came into this one knowing that it was gonna be I was gonna be talking to you about isekais. This is one of those things I just like. I went on a brainstorming streak. I'm trying to see if I could come up with 20 new podcast ideas, and I came up with 10 ideas that I think are good, and then another like 10 that are like these need workshopped.
I'm going to give myself a little bit of homework and come up with maybe 3 ideas for isekais and just see if that's what they actually are.
Oh my god, so, I love that to death. You come up with 3 isekais, and then I will go on the internet and try to see if I can find if they already exist. Okay. I came up with one of the best ideas for a podcast episode I think I ever have, and this is why I love this brainstorming thing I've been doing. I want to tell you about it because it's so good. Okay. So, my idea was each one of us is going to create a PS2 classic, an Xbox classic, and a Dreamcast classic.
What do you mean by create?
Like, you know how like there's the SNES classic and the PlayStation classic?
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
A PS2 classic, an Xbox classic, and a Dreamcast classic. You pick the games, you pick, what's on it, pick everything. You pick if you want to pick the music, if you want to pick the logos, everything. And we just we'll do a podcast where we both tell what we think our PS2 and PS3 classics, or PS2 and PlayStation and Xbox classics look like.
I think that you and I would probably come up with similar lists for PS2 and Dreamcast, just because of how tied we are to those consoles. But Xbox, I think, is going to be really interesting.
I thought that idea up, and I was like, that's good. I am excited to see how this comes out.
The original Xbox, low-key, one of the greatest consoles of all time. It's so good.
I definitely played, as a person who doesn't own an Xbox now, I definitely played the shit out of my original Xbox.
Dude, it was so good. It was so good. All right, challenge accepted. I got you.
Okay. And I also put, like I said, I was brainstorming. I was like, I'm going to try and get to 20. So, I came up with ideas I thought were pretty good, but I literally put some on a separate list that just says, brainstorming. Because, I was like, I don't know if these are fleshed out enough to, do a full podcast episode about.
Let's do that on the next one. Well, let's do. Gosh, the SNES Classic is.
Oh, I got you fired up.
21 for each console.
I got you fired up, huh?
What?
I'm excited to do it too, though. Like I said, I thought this was gold when I thought that up.
Next episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah.
All right. You want to do positives and get out of here?
Yeah. I'll go and let you go first because I haven't come up with one yet.
Okay, so my positive for today is this is a brain train, but I have been in the process of studying how to study.
Interesting.
Because hi Dom, because I'm in the process of learning a whole bunch of new stuff. I have a new job, kind of, that I'm studying. I'm learning, so I've got to learn how to learn, basically.
Yeah.
So
it's tough too.
It's a weird thing, but I came to a conclusion that if I'm right, will solve so many of my problems, and it is I need to sleep better, because you commit things to memory in your sleep. I have sleep apnea, so I don't sleep well.
Daddy,
What's up, baby?
I get a coolest better, and I say my birthday is coming soon, and Mama Chloe's birthday and Don's birthday.
Yeah, Chloe's birthday's coming up soon, and then after that one is your birthday.
Hi, Dom.
Mommy say we're gonna get dragons.
We're gonna get dragons for your birthday?
Yes, and I get to call and see my friends again.
Yes, we are gonna go see your friends. Okay. Dom, will you take this to Lobby and go stab her?
Dear Mommy!
Yeah, go stab her. Okay. So, in other words, hopefully, if I'm right, it will solve some of my retention abilities by getting better sleep.
Yeah, dude, sleep, that's one of the most important things. And, like, that's not just, like, Brett agreeing with you and stuff. Like, that's... You need to sleep.
What I will say is, if you are a person out there and you have sleep apnea, or you just aren't a person who sleeps well, if you work on that, it will change your life. It'll be the best time you've ever put into self-care, just figuring out how to make yourself sleep better.
No. I'm somebody that has to take stuff to fall asleep. So I have my sleep aids, but I've been I'm a very old pothead, kind of. I've been taking these. I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked in years, but I am a big fan of these THC gummies. I'll tell you what, dude. Like, not just for like mental health, because I have a hard time relaxing. Like, getting my brain just to kind of slow down and take a breath. It would just really help. Not just with like mental health, like I was saying, but my sleep has been so much better. Yeah, you need your 8 hours. At the very least, you need 7 hours.
This is like one of those weird things that I just kind of love about the podcast. Like, once we get to like the positive, it just is like, it's like, I feel like this positives part of the podcast is such like a feel good moment. I like it.
Yeah, it is. Mine's not super feel good, but I was just gonna say pro wrestling is awesome right now, and probably better than it's ever been.
It's cool. I mean, I spent half of this podcast talking about isekai, so we gotta get some wrestling stuff in here too.
I'm not gonna get super deep into it, but we've gone past the Royal Rumble. The Rock is back. He's a bad guy now, which is really cool. Cody's gonna finish his story at WrestleMania. That's the big tagline. Wrestling has not been this good since. Oh gosh, not wrestling, but WWE specifically has not been good. Has not been this good since probably the late '90s.
Oh.
So that's probably a hot take. I don't know, but yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, and I'm coming up with my wrestling as anime stuff. And I think I'm going to do it after WrestleMania.
All right.
So, I want to see what happens with this particular story. This is 4 years in the making, dude. Roman Reigns. I don't know if you know who he is or not.
Yes.
He has been the world champion for almost 4 years now. No stops. He's collected 2 belts. Like, he was the Universal Champion. He beat the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, back in 2020. When they, crowd were gone because of the pandemic and stuff, but they did SummerSlam in this thing called the Thunderdome, where they had a bunch of video screens and stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
So Roman Reigns beat the Fiend. He's since passed away, unfortunately. But in that 4 years, dude, he's beaten everybody there is to beat. Won the WWE Championship as well, so he's got both of the top 2, or he's got the top 2 belts in the company. to the point where they had to create another belt just so other people could fight over something because this dude just doesn't show up very often anymore. He's a special attraction. But he's been champion for 4 years, and this is probably the best opportunity that anybody's had to defeat him. That's just a cool story. You know what I mean?
Gives me Goldberg vibes.
Oh, dude. Well, and the funny thing about Goldberg is that stuff, like the streak and all that good stuff, like that. Especially when we were kids, it seemed like it lasted forever. That was maybe 18 months.
I mean, that's crazy because, like, honestly, when I was a kid, I remember, like, I was like, who's ever going to beat Goldberg? When is it going to happen? Like, no one can beat him. Like, I remember that, like, super vividly. So, like, you telling me that it's 18 months totally puts me into that, like, Aaron, you have become old.
Do you remember how he got beat?
I do not.
He got beat. He was going to fight Kevin Nash at, I want to say it was Starrcade. It was 90... Maybe it was 97 going into 98. So it probably wasn't even 18 months. But anywho, so he's fighting Kevin Nash, and then Scott Hall comes up with a flipping cattle prod or a taser and electrocutes Bill Goldberg. And Kevin Nash beats him. And then the next night on Nitro, Kevin Nash is the world champion. He's like going face to face with Hulk Hogan. Hogan's a bad guy, obviously, with the NWO stuff. And Hogan and Nash are about to like face off, and it's gonna be this epic clash of two former NWO members. Hogan pokes him in the chest. Nash falls down. Hogan covers Nash, and it's over just like that. Wrestling.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Oh man. I like I said, I'm still looking forward to that wrestling episode. Please, please, as we continue to say on this podcast, take your time and do it to you feel like it's perfection. But I'm definitely looking forward to it.
As the kids say, let them cook.
Yes, I will absolutely let you cook on that one.
All right, brother.
Yep,
it was a good episode.
I agree. I love you, man. I'll see you next time.
Love you too. Everybody be good.
Yep.
Tell Large Bar sent you.
Wimmity wham wham wazzle. I should really change my sign out. I don't know if it's too late at this point or what.
We're 16 episodes in?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
It's also like 25 hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
we can do whatever we want. I mean, we're running it.
Yeah.
So if you want to change it, change it. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, I'm unsubscribing because he's not saying wibbity wham wham wazzle. Bring it back. It's wibbity wham wham wazzle gate.
I would love that, honestly. I would sit back and quietly stroke the flames of wibbity wham wham wazzle gate.
That sounds like a real thing. That sounds like something that somebody would come up with on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Or X now. I'm sorry. X.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you, Elon Musk.
Yes! We brought it all the way back. Fuck you, Elon Musk. Goodbye.